remember when you had an outfit you really wanted to wear that described your personality perfectly, and you weren't able to wear it because of the restricting dress codes of your school, workplace, or event that you were going to? Dress code is something that everyone has experienced at some point in their life at the previous places I've stated before, those being your school, workplace, or just in a special event. And most who have experienced these dress codes say that they're really hard to follow and they're too strict. When I came to Ball State, I was really surprised at the lack of dress code that was here. The only thing that you had to follow was being respectful and not showing too much. After going to a high school for 4 years where the dress code was really strict and very important to the school, I felt a pressure being lifted off of me that I didn't even know that was there. I felt like now that I had come here, I could be myself and dress the way I wanted to. Dress codes have many pros and cons, but I think that the cons outnumber the pros. I believe that dress code can limit the individuality and creativity of students. And according to Josephine Irwin's YouTube video, many dress codes are outdated, but I'll go into that more later on in the speech in more detail. Schools sometimes expect you to wear a certain color of clothes, type of clothes, and certain length of pants and other specific requirements that is difficult for some students to follow, especially those in low-income households. Dress codes are put in place to teach students about their future workplaces and how they should present themselves. But according to Wilder and Key, these are not true. Workplaces tend to look at your work ethic and your quality of work rather than how you dress or what you look like. That can be different for different situations, but more likely the workplaces are not going to care what you wear. There may be some dress codes, but they're not as strict as some others. Irwin also states in her video that dress codes are unconstitutional. They impede on the freedom of expression and do not allow students to dress as they please. Linda Lumsden states in her article that virtually every uniform policy in the country is only applied for elementary and or middle school students. And with the changes in times, I personally think that dress codes need to be updated. Like I stated previously, dress codes are very outdated. Irwin states that dress codes have become popular in the 1920s, and they haven't changed much since then. Dress codes have been around for nearly 100 years, and the clothing style and preferences have definitely changed since then, unlike the rules. Clothing has become harder to find that is deemed school appropriate, that being pants without holes and shirts that are not too low or too cropped, which is very difficult to find nowadays, especially in the types of stores where most students find their clothes. The cost of clothes has also increased drastically, whereas before you could get a simple outfit that was deemed school appropriate for a low cost, whereas today a simple pair of jeans can cost anywhere from $75 to $80 plus. Preferences for masculine and feminine dressing is limited within dress codes as well. If someone who is more masculine wants to dress feminine, it is usually not allowed within the dress codes and is seen as inappropriate. The most common thought with dress codes is that they are targeted more towards females, whereas a male can wear shirts that are with low necklines, tank tops, and pants that are too short or have holes in them and can get away with that. But when a female dresses with that includes the low necklines, tank tops, pants that are too short or has holes in them, they are automatically deemed as breaking dress code. And when you break dress code, you are usually sent out of the classroom and you are missing that class time. When the dress code is broken, the student is sent to go change or even worse, to go home. And this may sound like a good alternative at the time, but the time that that student is missing in the class, they are missing the valuable information that is being taught to the other students, just for something as little as holes in their pants. With all these cons, dress codes do have some pros with them. They can prevent things such as bullying, which can be caused by what a student wears to school. But with a dress code, this makes it to where all students can wear a uniform and makes it to where bullying for clothes is less likely to happen. And according to Wilder and Key, some schools require students to have their belt line exposed. This may seem like a really specific rule to have, but it can help with the spotting of weapons being brought into the schools. The guards usually look out for this belt line to see if the students are trying to bring in a weapon, preventing anything to happen that could be negative. In conclusion, if they expect students to follow the dress code, they should look at today's standards. Today's standards have changed drastically since the past 100 years, and dress codes are too limited for these standards. They were okay for the past ones, but these ones they're not okay for. Standards, they do not take these into consideration, and situations that may be faced today are not taken into these considerations as well.